and we welcome you to what is a first-round SoCal Regional playoff here on Hornet Radio. I am Ryan Osborne, joined by Mark Pavlovich, Joseph Pavlenko, in addition to Caleb Ramos coming up in a little bit, and we also have Becky Nguyen behind the controls. We are live as Fullerton College gets set to take on San Diego City here in the first round of the SoCal Regional. Mark, over to my right, you take a look at these two teams. You started off with Fullerton College. They had an excellent end to their season. However, they're going up against a team that is number 3 in the state in scoring with 66 goals.
Well, and that's the thing I was going to bring up. They average 3 goals a game, Ryan, and that's the big thing that you look at in this game altogether. That with those 3 goals, Fullerton does not match that scoring at all. They give up almost 2 goals a game. So I think it's first out of the box that gets in there is going to take control of this game today, and we'll see what happens.
You know, Mark, it's funny that you mention that because you look at Fullerton College this season. When they score first, they have an excellent record. However, when they trail to start, it's been a little bit more difficult. So one of the biggest things that we mentioned before this broadcast started is that Fullerton College is very clearly going to have to get on the board first, or at least hold and maintain for a while. If they get behind, that's going to be where the difficulties will set in.
Well, I think the thing that happens, too, when you look at playoff's so much different than when you're playing conference, because playoff is if you have a bad game, you don't play well, you can't score, you go home, and I get to keep continuing along the way. And I think that's the thing that we've seen this Fullerton team run into during their past few years, and I think that's going to be a real difficult aspect when you look at it.
Streaks, and more streaks. That is the tail of the tape for each of these two teams. You go to San Diego City College from 11-4, that would be November the 4th until today. They are coming in on a 3-game win streak. In that time, they have put together a total of 11 goals and only conceded 3. On the other side for Fullerton College, they have not lost in conference play. Obviously, this is not a conference matchup, but they have not lost in conference play since that matchup on the 17th of October, which was a 4-2 loss against Irvine Valley. After that, they were phenomenal. The rest of the season going undefeated, and you look at their track record. Orange Coast wins, Santa Ana, Cypress, Santiago Canyon, Saddleback, and Orange Coast all in a line, and all of them ended up receiving losses from Fullerton College. Now, one big thing that we have here today is that as we unmute Caleb Ramos, we're going to have a sideline guy. It is Caleb Ramos, who is our star pupil here at Hornet Radio, and we bring it down to Caleb here. Caleb, you and I were talking about it beforehand. This is a very cold matchup, and both of these two teams come from places that are very, very sunny and fair weather.
Yeah, I mean, as you can see, I'm forced to be out here in a sweater for the rest of the broadcast because it is that cold. I'm sure the Hornets and Knights are both going to feel it, especially when the Hornets are a bit more of a physical team than maybe the Knights are used to, like we were talking about at the start, Ryan.
And Caleb, I'm staying down here with you for this, but you and I were talking about San Diego City and how well they were able to put the ball away into the back of the net. 66 goals, averaging 9.8 shots per game. But if you're going to look at it from Fullerton's perspective, is there one person that you can say from Fullerton's sideline is going to be a difference maker?
Absolutely. I mean, it's going to be Andrew Areola. We've called his name all season. He has been fantastic. He was Defensive Player of the Year last year, decided to come back. We don't see that often, as you mentioned before, Ryan, but we don't see a returning award winner come back to their school that often, but he's been an integral part of this Fullerton College defense that has allowed only 5 goals in their last 8 games since their last loss to Irvine Valley, as you mentioned earlier.
And real quick, before they announce the starting lineups here, one more thing about San Diego City that I think was interesting, and I'll bring it back up. You mentioned it earlier. They gave one of the best teams in the state their only loss this season, and it's a common opponent with Fullerton.
Yeah, I mean, Cuyamaca, you mentioned, number 2 in the state. The Knights were able to to give them their only conference loss of the season. They were coming into today 10-1-1 in conference for Cuyamaca. That one loss coming to the San Diego Knights. The Hornets played them earlier in the season. They were able to get a goal, but not nearly enough as they lost 4-1.
So that common opponent is going to be an interesting one. Caleb, thank you very much. We're going to bring it on back in the booth coming up here in just a little bit as we get set for the rest of this matchup between Fullerton College and San Diego City here on Hornet Radio. Ryan Osborne, Mark Pavlovich for the moment being. Will be joined by Joseph Pavlenko in a little bit as we take a look at this matchup. Go ahead, Mark.
Well, and I saw Palomar play today. Same conference as Cuyamaca and San Diego City. Palomar, a very physical team. So this is going to be a physical matchup today between these two teams. And whoever wins this one, they get Cuyamaca at the next step. So don't look too far down the road because you're going to take on a team when you win this one that used to be number one in the state of California.
So you take a look at these two teams. They are getting announced here at Hal Sherbeck Field. We're going to have the starting lineups coming up for you in just a little bit. But before we get there, I actually want to go to our players to watch for Fullerton College. And when you take a look at the players to watch for Fullerton College, one of the big guys that I want to take a look at, Mark, is someone that Caleb just mentioned a few moments ago, Andrew Ariola. He's part of that back line that you were talking about earlier today. He is the catalyst. He's the center back for this program. He also has a goal in the last 2 games. When he is going, the rest of the back line is going. How difficult is it for Fullerton College to look at their 2-time all-state or all-region selection and say, hey, you have to carry us in order for us to get to the next round?
Well, I think he needs to be a box-to-box player. That's one thing you've got to have. And if you were lucky enough to watch the Cypress game today, Cypress did that with their OEC defensive players. They were box-to-box players that they would attack and they would play on the other side. So this is one thing we talk about here on Hornet Radio.
So coming up in just a little bit, we're going to have the national anthem in addition to the starting lineups between San Diego City and Fullerton College. We're going to step aside for the national anthem. When we come back, like we mentioned, we're going to have the starting lineups between these two sides and the start of Fullerton College and San Diego City in the first round of the SoCal Regional right here on Hornet Radio. And we welcome you back to Hornet Radio, where we bring you the live game action of the first round of the SoCal Regional. Ryan Osborne, Mark Pavlovich, Joseph Pavlenko out here at Hal Sherbeck Field. And Joe, you didn't get a chance to chime in earlier, but it's these two teams that are very good in the last month or so that have a chance to move on to play Cuyamaca again. And like Caleb mentioned, San Diego City has already played them. They beat them. Fullerton's played them as well. They lost to them. when you look at Fullerton College, who you've seen this season, they've got to be on their P's and Q's, if you will.
On the ones and twos, like
There you
Becky
go.
is on the broadcast?
Exactly right.
That was the only witty comment I had. I don't know. Yeah, definitely. Both teams have had great runs going into this postseason round, play, matches. I don't know, whatever you want to call them. And they've both had a great run. Fullerton, first half of the season, we've all said, we've all been fans, we've all been saying, guys, come on, where is it? And San Diego City started off their season very differently.
Yeah, very different. You look at San Diego City to start their year, like Joe mentioned, they go out to Arizona Western and lose 6-0 against a very good nationally ranked program. And then they actually had their first 8 matches on the road. Arizona Western, College of the Desert, San Bernardino, Rio Hondo, Santiago Canyon, Compton, Saddleback, Long Beach, before finally having one of their 7 home matches actually take place against Cuyamaca. So you look at that road start for them. They end up losing their first match, tie the next 2, win the next 4. That was a team that, other than that Arizona Western matchup, was undefeated going from August 29th all the way down to September the 30th. It's going to be a difficult matchup for Fullerton College, who, if you have been watching Hornet Radio all season, you watch this team get better and better with each match. Now, speaking of which, let's very quickly get you to the starting lineups. San Diego City is going to have Diego Garcia be the starter in net. He's got a 1.45 goals against average, and he is a sophomore out of University City High School. He'll be patrolling to the goal on our right. In addition to Danny McCalligan, who is one of their stars, with Leo Loya Alejandre. He'll be joined by Kevin Nguyen and Alberto Esparza, with Alexander Torres, who's second in scoring, and Edgar Garcia, in addition to Matea Hadzibabic and Anthony Detmers, joined by Anthony Jimenez and James Lee Exontis, as we are underway here from Fullerton College and Hal Sherbeck Field, live on the campus of Fullerton College. Hornet Radio bringing you the first round of the SoCal Regional.
Well, I think the thing you need to watch in this game tonight, if they're much like Palomar, Joe, it's going to be a 1 or 2 man show when you look at it. And that's what they've got here, Ryan. Really, when you look at it, you can look at Nieto, and what he does, he's got 15 points, but it's really Torres that spins the drink for the San Diego City team.
Andrew Ariola, very early on, already has an interception there to help Fullerton College stop a quick early attack by San Diego City. San Diego City will be going from right to left, and Fullerton College will be doing the opposite, left to right. We'll get to the kits in just a couple of moments as we give you Fullerton College's starting lineup as this ball goes past the touchline. Steven Martinez will be in goal, the sophomore, with a .81 goals against average. That's under 1, as San Diego City has an excellent chance to get the ball, and they end up being offside, so it will be Fullerton's possession. Brandon Acevedo with David Suarez and Andrew Ariola. That's the 4 directly in front, or excuse me, the 3 in front of Steven Martinez. Then Evan Courtney, Kevin Castro, and Josias Palacios, joined by Cisco Torres, Brian Polmounter, and they'll also be joined by Jared Rodriguez and Diego Bravo, who gets a start after a while. This ball is kicked away, goes towards the far side touchline, and will go out. So, Mark, Joe, you look at a very sophomore-oriented lineup for Fullerton College, different than what we've seen the past half of the season.
Yeah, but I think you're going to see a lot of substitutions going on in this game. I mean, Greg and Kenny have done that. They changed their coaching attitude. Joe and I have talked about this quite often in a lot of these games. And, Joe, I'm going to look at you. I think that's what changed the season up for them when they started changing their coaching attitude on the sidelines.
That could have been. There certainly was a part in the season, Mark, where it looked like Greg and Kenny were almost, throwing anything on the wall and seeing what sticked, because there just wasn't there was something about this team. Like I said, that one game, they were an engine that wasn't turning over, and they need to figure out how to get that engine to turn over. So they just, let's change a sensor here, let's change a fuse here, maybe we need some more headlight fluid, I don't know, let's try anything. And finally they seemed to get that engine to turn over, and the season finally kind of got off to a start.
Yeah, and I think they really need to get off to a fast start here. I saw Cypress do it early against Palomar, and it set the attitude in the game defensively, Ryan, because Then all of a sudden, you realize you're up 1-0. Now, hopefully we'll score 5. But we're winning this game. Let's not lose it. So we'll see if that's the same attitude whoever takes the lead early in this game sort of rolls into.
Fullerton has a great chance to do exactly that here as they are in the first corner of this matchup. Fullerton will be taking it from the far side corner with Diego Bravo stepping up to it. He loops it up into the air. It's down the middle for Ariola, and he just can't get ahead on it as that is nicely cleared away by McElligott. McElligott is a star for this program. 6 goals, 6 assists, and 18 points as a freshman. The midfielder out of Torrey Pines High School, 5'10", McElligott is already off and running. Just underway here as Fullerton takes it away with Diego Bravo, who tries to swing it over to his right with Palacios, and Acevedo is going to have to watch that one go out for a very deep throw-in for San Diego City. We mentioned the kits. Fullerton College will be in their traditional blues. They will have white numerals with no piping or sidelining, and they will also be in the blue shorts and blue socks as well. On the other side, it is all white for San Diego City, who traditionally wears red or black. And in this case, the all white, it'll be black numerals with no outlining at all to speak of, and no piping on the side as well. Foul committed against Fullerton College. And again, we are just underway. 4.5 minutes gone. Fullerton College and San Diego City tied at no score. Liner to the left. Picked up over towards the right where it goes to Anthony Jimenez. Jimenez looking for a teammate. He's looking for Esparza. That's going to go too far in front of him, and that will go out of play. So a throw-in comes up, and Fullerton College will take possession.
And you look at what goes on here, Joe. You know, no matter who wins this, you get Cuyamaca again. They both played their future opponent if they win here in the playoffs.
Yeah, Fullerton didn't have the greatest outings against them, and then you see San Diego City, first game lose to them at home, and then they end up beating them on the road. And Cuyamaca is Ryan, you're the ruler of the rankings here at Hornet Radio. They're number 3 in the rankings, I think you said earlier today.
For Cuyamaca, they are number 2 in the state. That's what Caleb Ramos actually mentioned earlier. Number 2 in the state, and they are top 3 in terms of power points as well. Diego Bravo, nice little backspinner. He's going to find someone. It's going to go to David Suarez. Suarez looking for a teammate. He's got Acevedo, and it is offsides. Very vocal on both benches so far to start this game, and an interesting kind of look here for Caleb Ramos. It's going to be intriguing to hear what he has to say in terms of what the sideline feeling is like, because Joe, Mark, we always hear the Fullerton College sideline be extremely vocal and very active in the game, considering that the way that the benches are set up now for the playoffs, it's going to be intriguing to see what the reaction is on both sides.
Well, you can't wander, Joe. I mean, how far can you walk down the sidelines without visiting the opposing team?
You can't wander, and it's an interesting change-up. First round of the playoffs, and you're taking both teams and sticking them on the same sides. During the regular season, I get it, Mark, but playoff season?
Yeah.
When tempers run hot, emotions run high, you're going to sit these coaches and these young men next to each other.
Yeah, and I think it's real interesting. You know, you guys brought up who's doing what. Santa Monica, number 1 in the rankings when you look at the power rankings. Oxnard's number 2, and then Cuyamaca. Cypress wins today, so they end up taking on number 2. If Fullerton wins today, they end up taking up number 3. So the OEC isn't drawing anything easy if they can win these first 2 matchups here for Fullerton and Cypress.
Acevedo gets it back over from Palacios. This one's booted down the right sideline. It will stay inside the touchline. Courtney will see it kicked away from him. A nice little scoop there by Edgar Garcia. And Fullerton's going to have a very deep toss in once again. So Fullerton College has been in the attacking third for the most part in the early going here. Just about 8 minutes done in the first half of play. Fullerton College, San Diego City, no score. As we bring you live game action here on Hornet Radio. Acevedo, little drop toss. Takedown, nothing doing. The official says, no, we play on. Here's Exontis. Exontis leading the team in scoring. He gets that one dispossessed from him. Exontis trying to get it back. Cisco Torres, the first team All-OEC member, will kick this one to his right, and Exontis actually deflects it off of a Fullerton College player, and it goes for a toss-in now for San Diego City. Ball goes out off of Fullerton once again, and San Diego City will get it back. Over to our left, directly in front of Kenny Castellanos and Greg Aviles, the two coaches for Fullerton College's program.
I think, Ryan, the big thing here is going to see who really runs a better overloop on the offensive side when you watch them on the field here. That's going to be the big thing. Fullerton, I think, runs it very well when you look at it. We'll see if, when they take on San Diego City, if they'll run the same thing as no foul is called right there. It was called. And for an overloop, what that is that's a person running to that free side. So in other words, Ryan's got the ball. I'm going to run by Ryan. And basically we're on the same side, but I'm going to get open so that Ryan can give up the ball in a free area, then come back with Joe or I cutting across the middle. If that's a possibility tonight, whoever runs that the best could walk away with a victory.
Fullerton with it for a second. They end up losing that. And away goes San Diego City with McElligott. As we mentioned, McElligott has been a star for this program. Martinez stumbles. He has to go back for it and waits until it gets inside the box. San Diego City is actually clapping and happy with that result because they were able to force a little bit of pressure here. And for Mark, Joe, you take a look at Steven Martinez. He's a star in goal for Fullerton and has had a very good second half.
Well, I think the thing that's interesting, Ryan, I originally thought it might be offsides. No flag was raised, and all of a sudden he realized, I think he thought the same thing because he realized, oh, God, I got to get back. And when he planted the back foot, he tripped himself or got caught in this turf out here, this artificial turf, and that took him down. You guys have both walked this field, so you know how treacherous it can be.
Is Mark making excuses with getting stuck in the turf, Ryan?
It just seems like it a little bit, but that's okay because it's a cold night. The other day we had a rainy night, and both of which are completely fine. Ball taken away by Diego Bravo. He's got to get it away quickly. He goes to Courtney. Courtney on the spinning turnaround pass doesn't end up connecting to the teammate he wants to, and it is taken away finally by Esparza. Alberto Esparza, the 5'7" sophomore out of University City. Chance on the left-hand side, kicked away. So neither of these two teams really getting the connections that they want so far, Mark.
No, they aren't. And, Joe, here's the interesting thing. If you watch San Diego City, they look like they're in a 3-3-4. But then they drop a forward all the way back. And they now switch out of it, and they go into a 4 on the back line defensively. So, again, when you watch people play the game of soccer, yeah, we can see the lineups. But, Ryan, if you're versatile as a player, this is what they look for in the community college level.
That's exactly right, because you will see a lot of opportunity for these guys. Let's just say you're a center back. You're going to get a chance to play left back. You're going to get a chance to move up and take the offensive opportunity if you have it. Look at a guy like Andrew Ariola. He's got 3 goals in back-to-back seasons for Fullerton, and it's just something that has worked, as this will be a throw-in on this right side.
Yeah, and I think the big thing you need to look for, too, is who's going to – I mean, they're both running up and down the field. But who's really attacking? That's the thing I want to know while I'm watching these two teams, Joe. It's one thing to run up and down the field, but who's really attacking?
Yeah, I mean that's a whole conversation, right? Possession's a point of conversation when you're talking about that. But also, if you have possession but you can't get into your own attacking third, where you're maintaining possession at the midfield, can't move it up, or are having a hard time taking it from your third past the midfield. Yeah, you got the ball a lot, Mark, but what do you do with it?
Yeah, exactly.
Here's a chance for McElligott. Gets that one taken away. Palacios over to Torres. Torres on his left foot trying to move it over to his right, going one-on-one against Esparza, and Esparza is able to kick that one away and make that Edgar Garcia on the nice defensive play.
Yeah, I had a coach say to me today after the game, one of the games I did, he looked at me and he said, hey, we had so many opportunities. We could have. I don't know a soccer game that's ever been won with we could have. It's either you did or you didn't.
Have you ever won a game with we should have?
Well, we could have.
If we had of.
Yeah.
And we would have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should be means ought to be, but not necessarily will be.
Here's a throw-in for the Hornets. A little back bump. A chance for Palacios. It's on goal. That's the first shot of the game. And Fullerton is able to get it on frame. So the save is made as Exontis wants to go on the quick counter. Exontis now moving it up with Torres. Torres back to Exontis on the give and go. Left-hand side takes a shot. Parried away nicely by Martinez. Nearly cleared away by the Hornets and finally successfully done so by Arriola. So a quick counterattack, guys, by Exontis and Torres, and they create offense on their own.
And you talk about quick. He tore down the sideline of the field. He saw one of his fellow players, and I did not make out the number on that run.
Exontis on the near side, 26, and then 20 if you're watching online for Torres.
So Exontis had the heads up to kind of fade over to our side of the field, continue the run, which then could have created an opportunity. If they had somebody else on the far side of the field too, as Gordon Bombay would say, pick up the trash, that could have been unfortunate for the Hornets.
Exontis this season, 13 goals, 7 assists. He's got 33 points. And again, when you look at San Diego City, you hate to say a team is limited on scores, but Ryan, they're not diversified up and down. So it is going to be maybe that one-headed monster that can beat you.
And we've seen with Fullerton, 2 years ago when we saw them, we saw that, Fullerton maybe not as diversified on the attacking 2 years ago. Last year, they really spread the love around a lot. And we saw Fullerton kind of get shut down in postseason play because everybody knew Angel Seviano, Misael Gonzalez, let's isolate them, let's triple, let's quadruple team them, and let's shut them down.
So this throw-in is going to go on the far side. In a little bit, we're going to go to Caleb Ramos on the sideline to get what the feeling is so far between these two in terms of energy and how they're able to deal with the cold. As this one is tossed up, it's going to go towards the middle. Fullerton has a chance for a second, clings around. No clearance yet as Sparsla finally gets to it, and he'll see this one kicked away from him. Fullerton takes it away once more. They've spent the majority of time in the offensive end, and this will end up being a foul. So we're going to go to Caleb Ramos down on the field here in just a couple of moments. Caleb, as we get set to toss it over to you, when you take a look at the energy between these two sides, how are they managing the energy for this first-round matchup?
Yeah, I mean, the energy's up. You can feel both benches, coaches, and players on the field getting excited, getting hyped when anything happens. You look at both teams. They are playing physical, as we talked about, and I'm sure that the cold is making a difference. Now, both teams being as physical as they are, the pace of play has changed a little bit from what we're used to seeing. Ryan, as you mentioned, Fullerton has spent most of the time in the offensive end when we're used to them being more of a defensive team. Only 3 goals allowed in their last 8 games, as I mentioned earlier. And Cuyamaca spent a little bit more on the defense, spent more time being on the defensive end. They had 24 goals in their last 5 games. High scoring, but great back and forth battle we've seen so far today. Now, both of these teams, Fullerton made a couple of substitutions that the Knights over to my left haven't yet, trying to get those fresh legs, but it could be beneficial to both teams to be able to have that substitution, but also keep the guys out that are warm. The cold is a big factor. My hands right now are freezing, actually.
And speaking of which, we're actually going to take it back over this way. Because it is cold, we're going to allow you to go and get warm as we continue on here. So again, Caleb Ramos, our sideline reporter here tonight, and we'll continue to keep an eye on him and hear from him later on. This ball is kicked away from San Diego City, and they will end up taking the offensive possession going from right to left, as they had a corner kick just a little bit ago, but they weren't able to actually convert anything there, as that will end up being a foul. And coming on to the field for Fullerton will be Troy Flores, who has gotten a lot more minutes in the latter half of the season.
Well, here's the thing you want to watch with San Diego City. We have seen them run attacks, but they're running attacks, Joe, from one side of the field so far. So they're coming down. If you're with us and watching our cameras, it's going to be to the near sideline that they're running all their attacks on. They feel very comfortable coming that way as they get ready again. And I'm going to watch how far the defense wanders up the field. It's going to give me an idea what they think about Fullerton College when it comes to a counter attack.
Yes, sir. That is a heck of a clearing ball right there from San Diego City. I'm sorry, I got distracted, Mark.
Oh, okay. Because I was waiting for you to make a comment, and then when
No,
you did, I thought, wait a minute, Joe's going where on me on here?
No.
And again, if you watch San Diego City on the field right now, they're doing what Palomar tried to do earlier today, but that Cypress did very successfully. Step in front of somebody, Joe. You know this game of soccer. You better find somebody and get in front of them when they're on the field. If you're going to let them run wild, you're in trouble.
Yeah, well, that's something. It's like I think last year we had made the comparisons to other sports a lot. I think we were a little lighter on that this year, but it's like basketball, right? You body block people. You cut off not just the route to a play or the route to the basket, or in this case the route to the goal. You're cutting off a route to stop a ball from going out, so you can't get that favorable throw in at the side of the field, right? Or you're cutting off a run. It's even like, I know penalties and tackles in soccer get a real bad rap, Mark, but really when somebody commits a flagrant foul, and notice how I use the word flagrant foul because I think that's used in another sport, isn't it?
It is.
Somebody creates a foul like that on the soccer pitch, it's for the same reasons as they would in a game like basketball. And I feel like you're even seeing some basketball players in the NBA maybe staying on the hardwood a few seconds longer than they need to, taking notes maybe from the boys on the soccer pitch.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
Here's Torres. Torres down the middle. He's looking for Exantis, trying to load one up, gets a shot away. That's blocked. Clearance can't get away, and now Fullerton's in a little bit of trouble, which Martinez will finally get over to and find the ball as well.
You know, here's the thing. We talk a lot about passing up in the booth, and again, I happened to watch a game today that the passing was crisp and accurate for the team who played, and I think at this stage of the game, Ryan, you've been around this sport enough. Is this where you look and say, they're not crisp, they're not on point, this team looks nervous on the field? I mean, is that what distributes being nervous on the field, by watching the way they pass and get to the ball to their fellow players?
Wait, is Mark talking about crisps like potato chips?
Yeah, crisp. Potato chips. You know what? Did somebody bring those in? Okay.
Entering the game is Oscar Ferry. I'm getting potato chips after the game. I don't know about you guys. I might give some to Caleb because he's braving the cold.
Okay.
But you guys, I don't know about you guys.
But do you look at that when they're not accurate with their short passes, their long passes, you say, okay, is it nerves or is it what?
So I come from a hockey background, and the phrase that is used there is
get the
gripping.
Technical. What? No, I'm sorry. That's Mighty Ducks.
I believe it was take the fall, become indignant is what you're looking for.
Okay.
But in this case, it's the same as gripping your stick too tightly, where you're expecting that you can do something, and if the first two passes don't work, you grip your stick a little bit tighter because you're trying to make sure that you will yourself into a better pass, will yourself into a better shot. And sometimes you just have to trust yourself and trust the training you have done for years. You have trained throughout your entire life to be able to go through practices, go through games, have AYSO, up to club soccer, up to high school soccer, and also collegiate soccer. Trust yourself and trust your instincts on where you're passing to and where you're getting shots from. You don't want to find yourself aiming, because aiming is where you get into trouble. This one was aimed a little bit too high, and it goes up and over top So that's going to find itself wide, and it's the second shot of the game for San Diego City.
Yeah, and here's the thing when we look at it, and we'll go at halftime, we'll talk about what the other playoffs and how they've ended up so far this day and what the future looks for in the OEC and the pathway for the other teams from the OEC that remain. We'll try to discuss that. But when you look at this game, again, if nobody's ever played in a game where the future ends when you lose, that's a mind game. It's such a mind game to realize if I make a mistake, our season meant nothing because we didn't go far enough because we're so into championships.
I was going to say, that's a real glass half empty kind of mindset, Mark. There's plenty of lessons learned. You just, you weren't the prom queen at the dance.
Here's
or king.
Trying to make some room for himself. This ball goes all the way out, going towards our camera, just misses it wide. As this is going to be tossed in.
I have great looking legs, so I could be either one. That's all I can say.
Mark wore a kilt to prom. Breaking news here on Hornet Radio, folks.
And Joe, I am one of those old school sports guys that if they don't win all the way, the team I'm rooting for, I find it being a lost season. We talked about Fullerton College football last week, Corey Nalen and Ryan Osborne. And I said to both of them, a good season? Ryan, your response to me on the other football team that was out here, you said, yeah, it was a good season.
So there's a difference between a good season and a disappointing end, and that's the way that I feel. Yes, you'll hear a lot of coaches say if we don't end up going all the way and winning it all, it wasn't a good season. You can't take that as a good season, and I happen to disagree. Yes, I'm not the authority that coaches are, but nonetheless, I'm a person who has watched community college sports for years on end. And I think that there's a difference between a good season and a disappointing end because you can have a very good season. Go back to 2 years ago for Fullerton College. They had a very good season, a historic season in terms of top 3 in overall record in program history. They had a top 5 scorer in program history. They had one of their best center backs that they've ever had in program history. But what happened in the playoffs? They lose in the first round.
They went no place.
They didn't end up going the way that they wanted to. So you look at the season overall and you say you had great successes. You had a great season, but you had a very disappointing end. And I think those are two very different things.
And the thing that's interesting is when you talk to the fans, just like if you talk to broadcasters after the game, if we would go back a few years back, everybody would look at it and say, oh, this was a horrible ending.
Ball on the near side, taken away by the back line. And it will end up being pushed up over towards Ariel, who has already intercepted 4 different passes. But a chance off of a shot, a deflection, and Martinez has to be there to save it. So San Diego City is now getting the shots that they want. 2 saves by Martinez. That one goes out. It's another corner kick. And this is a very dangerous offense. I have to look at you, Mark, Joe. You take a look at San Diego City, 66 goals to their credit. An offense that has been electric. They put up 10 on Imperial Valley. They put up 9 on Compton. They also put up an additional 5 on a team like Rio Hondo as well, 8 on Southwestern, and 5 on San Diego Miramar. As this one is pushed up into the air, dropped back down towards the goal line. It's still around the box. Esparza can't catch up to it. Doesn't go past the goal line, so it doesn't stop things for Fullerton. Here's a shot that just goes wide. Esparza taking that one from about 18 yards out, and it will find its way out for a goal kick. But I was just about to bring it over to you guys and say if Fullerton College allows for San Diego City to get into their offensive rhythm like they have in the last 10 minutes, they're going to run into some trouble.
Yeah, they are. I mean, again, we talked about this earlier in the day, Ryan. Fullerton College, the start of their season, they did not do well coming back from adversity. It wasn't until, again, as we're talking about this game and this matchup earlier today, it wasn't until that IVC game when they were down 4-0 and then they came back 2 in the second half of the game. That's where I think, as Mark would say, we were waiting to see the identity of this Hornets squad, and I think that is the moment where they kind of calcified who they were as a team this year. A little late in the season, but better to do it than never have done it that season. Then you really don't, as you would say, can have a uneventful ending season without having a championship winning season, but you can still have positive takeaways, right? This squad kind of figured out who they were. And that was one of the only times, and again, I think Mark, Lady Luck just wasn't on their side. They had plenty of shots on goal in that match, but they just couldn't create those scoring opportunities. But the Hornets fought like heck to get themselves back in that game.
Speaking of, here's a chance for Fullerton College, an opportunity for Jack Overton that gets cleared away. And this one will end up being dropped over by Cisco Torres. Looper up into the air. Opportunity for the Hornets. Here's Villafana with the goalkeeper out of position. A shot is there, but it is deflected away, and a goal kick coming up. Substitutions coming in for San Diego City, as in just a couple of moments, Adam Neto is going to enter, as will Edwin Morfin Jr. Both of them have had their successes for San Diego City.
Did you just say it's Morphin time?
He is indeed entering in just a couple of moments, and it looks like it's Torres, and they'll also be joined by Anthony Jimenez. So one of the top two scorers for San Diego City comes out, and Jimenez as well. So taking the top of the formation will end up being Neto. He actually scored his first collegiate goal against Compton on September the 16th. Also has scored a goal in each of his last 2 games played. So he's trying to make it 3 in a row for San Diego City. Ball over towards the far side, and it finds Neto. Neto looking for an opportunity. He ends up being dispossessed by, it looks like, Cisco Torres. Nicely done there. Torres actually is one of the big key players for Fullerton College. He was named as a first-team All-OEC selection in his sophomore season. Had a game-winning goal against Saddleback in the 65th minute, and also recorded an assist against Bakersfield on the 31st.
You know, I like how Ryan brought up the amount of goals that San Diego City had. I think the thing that's really impressive is that Cuyamaca was 10-1-1 in conference in the PCAC, but Miracosta 7-3-2, Ryan, right there. Who else was 7-3-2? San Diego City. The only reason they end up in third as their overall record was 9-6-5, so they drop down, as that's how they try to figure out who comes in first, second, and third. Much different than when you look at who Cypress played today, where they took on Palomar, who was 3-5-4 in conference and 6-10-5. So this is a team that not only responded well. Yeah, they scored a lot of goals, but I mean, when, you know, no offense to the school. Oh, well, I'm going to offend them anyway. You score 10 goals against Compton or some of these other schools, they're not soccer schools. They play the game, but they're not soccer schools. Fullerton College is a soccer school. Kids want to come and play here. Cypress is a soccer school. Cuyamaca is a soccer school. So scoring goals can be deceptive when you look at who somebody plays.
Here's a ball that goes up towards Exantis. He's trying to take it over and get some offense going on his own. Gets dispossessed nicely there by Cisco Torres, and it looks like he was also joined by Villafana. We'll double check that in just a moment. Here's Acevedo, taken away by McElligott. Nice job there by McElligott to get that one to where he needed to on his right hip. Little pop up there. Taken away by the back line of Fullerton College, and it looks like that was Diego Bravo. McElligott back up on it, goes off of his right shoulder, and it will pop up back towards Cisco to Paul Mounter. Paul Mounter on the swing away. Check back down. In a little bit, we're going to go to Caleb Ramos, get a little bit more information on the Pacific Coast Athletic Conference that Mark was just talking about a few moments ago. This one's over towards the touchline. Kept in by San Diego City for a moment, but that ball ends up going out for a throw-in. So as we bring it over to Caleb Ramos on the sideline. Caleb, you know, earlier today you were talking to me about the Pacific Coast Athletic Conference. They didn't just get 2 teams inside the playoffs.
Yeah, you're right. They didn't get just 2, not even just 3, but 4. They were one of 4 teams to get, one of only 2 conferences to get 4 teams in the playoffs. The other, Fullerton's OEC.
And Caleb, when you take a look at San Diego City, they end up taking away one of their top scorers in Torres, but they bring in another guy that has a lot of opportunity this season to score. He has scored 3 different times. What's it do for a team to be able to bring in scores after score?
I mean, it's a huge advantage to be able to have those kinds of guys off the bench that you can rely on and not say, hey, go in and just hold it down for us, wait until he gets some rest. Being able to have that guy who can score is massive for them.
And one more for you, Caleb, while you're down there. Have you noticed any chattering between the benches? I know you said that it was a lot of vocality on both benches, but has it been between either side?
Not yet. I haven't noticed any between either benches from the Knights to my left or the Hornets to my right. None between benches yet, just on the field chatter so far.
Thank you, Caleb. We're going to bring it back up here as that corner kick was just taken a few moments ago and swung back over the way of Fullerton College as they go to Oscar Feria. Feria is good to end up watching that one go back, and it looked like it went across the touchline, and neither team realized it. Mark, just going back to what Caleb was talking about, you have the depth scoring of San Diego City. You said just a few moments ago, scoring can be deceptive.
Yeah.
Because you can put up a bunch of goals. Like you mentioned, 10 goals against Compton. You end up putting up 9, if I'm not mistaken, against a team in conference, but it really doesn't end up mattering if it's not against a quality opponent, as Exontis gets back on this one nicely. And he's going to find this one over towards the right. Fullerton on the takeaway, trying to get something moving. They've got Villafana, who has a goal this season. He turns. The All-OEC member swings it to his right. Now a chance for Almeida. Almeida on the switch to his left foot. Opportunity for the Hornets. One more chance for Espinoza. Across the box, it grazes the crossbar. Was that tip? They say that it is. Joe, you had the good look at it.
Yeah, and Ryan, I'm going to comment on what you talked about, because you look at what happened earlier today. Cypress ends up beating Palomar. Miracosta wins their game 2-0 over Golden West College. It's teams that won that have been prolific enough. And, Joe, you've played this game as much as everybody. I love defense. I'm a defense freak, especially when it comes to soccer. But let's be realistic. If you're a prolific scoring team against good teams, in other words, you run set plays, you know how to make the pass, then that's the team to watch out for. If you just put up a lot of points but you don't beat anybody, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it's a true thing. It's the cliche is defense wins championships, right? But scoring's kind of the other half of the pie, and it's equally as important. And like you said, playing devil's advocate for the notion of power points here, what you're saying is, you're going 6-0 against a team. Maybe they're not a prolific soccer team, Mark. And then here's where power points actually kind of mean something and help teams that have maybe more competitive schedules. Because if we're just going off of points scored, who you beat, and how bad you beat them, if you're the shining soccer star in a sea of not shining soccer stars, yeah, on paper you look great. But PowerPoints kind of helps tell the rest of the story, kind of, if you get the point I'm trying to make.
Oh yeah. Well, I had coaches tell me today they're not going to play certain teams because, Ryan, it drags them down in the power rankings, and I don't understand where winning your conference means absolutely nothing. That's what I feel like it does.
Well, I mean, winning the conference does technically give you an automatic bid. Technically. We say technically because we've seen some strange things. But technically it does give you the automatic bid into the playoffs. But the thing is that you look at the power points like you're talking about. It's a very, I don't even want to say intriguing formula. It's just a very confusing formula.
Convoluted?
That's a great word.
Great word. Great word.
As Fullerton goes on the attack, we'll get back to that in just a second. Actually, we'll get back to it now. But it's a very convoluted formula that it's very difficult to understand. Not a lot of people understand it. I'm not even sure the people who set it up have the best understanding of it, because sometimes you'll look at the PowerPoints and you'll say, okay, if the PowerPoint ranking 1 through 24 is exactly who enters, then roll with that, as this is going to be offside against San Diego City. But if it's not, what specifically are we looking at that determines teams going in? Because we don't want to hear, oh, well, this team ends up with only 3 wins and 17 losses, but they played the best teams in the state. That doesn't mean anything to us when they're not getting the victories that they should, that the sport is very literally played for.
So, yeah, and when you spank somebody, Joe, and then I'll let you have your say, you can spank somebody like people did against Santa Ana. Santa Ana was the whipping board for the OEC. You beat them 6-0, Ryan Osborne. We went through the power rankings and saw that happen. Ryan said, oh, my God. They won 6-0 over Santa Ana. They dropped 5 spots. And it's like, so even if you beat the person you're supposed to beat, it doesn't matter.
So what you're saying is PowerPoints is a lot like the engineers creating modern-day AI. They've created a system that they don't fully understand how it works.
I sincerely believe, ask a coach about how power rankings work, and I heard you tweaked it. What did you do? And you get that blank stare. I mean, I'm like Ed Ford. When you look at some of the matchups, you're not supposed to play conference and conference games. I believe that a lot of these groups that run these sports want the top teams in the quarters, the semis, and the state final.
Ball gets cleared away as Fullerton had a little in-swinger that nearly connects but doesn't end up doing the thing that they wanted to, and that is getting them possession inside the box. This one's floated over towards the far side where it's taken by Nato. Nato is looking for McElligott. He doesn't have him. On the right-hand side, the attack here for San Diego City is there for Martinez, who takes over and takes control. So he's going to fall on it, and Fullerton will take possession. But I think it goes back to this. It's that you want wins to be the decisive factor, but then also, Mark, the flip side to that is that if wins are only the decisive factor, you are going to have some teams that beat up on a Compton, that beat up on a team like a Rio Hondo or an Imperial Valley. And then you look at it and you say, okay, they beat up on those teams 2 times. They've got 2 wins. They play another team like Compton. They've got 3 wins. They've got 8 of their wins are against teams that only have no wins or 1 win or no wins at all throughout the season. You don't want to overly reward those teams that are playing teams that aren't the best of competition, but at the same time you don't want to punish teams for actually winning.
Well, and the thing is, hey, you know what? If the teams are no good, like we saw during football this season, to the colleges, shame on you. Maybe you need to get rid of programs if you can't compete on the collegiate level. Don't tell me this is community college sports. I don't want that said to me. This is the college level. And if you can't compete on the college level, you have no business having that sport. And if people don't like that, well, look at the big conferences. They know it's money. But they also understand that it brings the better athletes, the student athletes that everybody wants.
Ball off to the right-hand side where it will go past the touchline. Morfin trying to move it up, and he cannot get the connection that he's looking for. It looks like in just a couple of minutes we're going to have Jacob Cortez enter, and I believe Leon Huang as well.
Ryan, this has been the fastest 45 minutes because we got 3 minutes left in this first half. Joe, I'm going to go back to you, baby. I don't really think there's been a threat on this field.
I think that run that San Diego City made down the near side field with Exontis, if, again, there would have been somebody on the far side of the field to kind of pick up that ball on that missed either shot or volley. I couldn't tell if he was trying to take a shot on goal or if he was hoping that there was another night there for him to connect with. That was some danger territory, but I wouldn't say it was deep, threatening danger because everybody on the field seemed fairly well composed in that. Granted, if the ball would have found the back of the net, we'd be talking about this play a lot differently, right? But yeah, nothing immediately making us up here, sit in the chairs, or stand up here and gasp.
Yeah, I mean,
there have been some threatening runs.
Yeah, and I really, when you start looking at playoff soccer, and you really do look at where everybody is ranked and everything else, and you hear about the power rankings and that, you go, okay, well, maybe these conferences are better than everybody else, and nobody gets any love for that conference you're in. I still think some of the better soccer I've seen has been from the OEC, even though I had 2 OEC coaches tell me this is a down year for men's soccer.
I mean, it's been a rough year for OEC soccer, but that's something that...
On the men's side.
On the men's side, but that's one of those things that it's maybe a misnomer. We talked about how tough a division the OEC is, and I think we still have teams that are standout performers, but the entire conference, the entire division, however you want to frame it, is not playing to the, let's say, standard of excellence that we're used to seeing. And sometimes it just happens with a recruiting lull or what have you. I mean, we've talked to many coaches in the OEC, including Greg, who realize that, and we don't mean this in a bad way, and the coaches don't speak of themselves in negative sense saying this, but they're just a stepping stone. They're here to help these student athletes go on to bigger and better things. They realize at most they have these young men for 2 years. It's on them to hopefully make a positive impact in their lives if it's possible and if they need that sort of guidance. In Greg's program, he tries to encourage them to pursue academic excellence as well as athletic excellence on a soccer pitch, and then wants to see them go on to bigger and better things.
Corner kick coming up here in just a couple of moments. We'll have some more conversations about that because, again, you take a look at a guy like the head coach of San Diego City and Coach Tolles, very similar to what you'll see from Greg Aviles in terms of making sure that his team is well educated and have the opportunity to move on. Here's a corner kick for Fullerton right down the middle, and it goes past 3. Fullerton College had an opportunity. It goes past the head of Ariola and goes right past the awaiting right foot of it looked like either Oscar Feria or Fabian Perez. And Fullerton was maybe a mere couple inches from getting the opening marker here with less than 30 seconds to go in the first half.
Shouldn't have any stoppage time. I don't see a reason behind it, but I thought that in the second half of the Cypress game,
there were like 6 or 7 minutes.
It was like incredible. We stared at each other like, where is this ref getting this stoppage time from?
Sometimes what we have heard from officials is that they will give some extra minutes just so that way each team has an opportunity to win the game in regulation without having to go to extra time or penalty kicks. Hey, don't look at me. That's what we've heard sometimes.
That sounds like officials trying to decide the outcome of the game, Mark.
I was going to say, I gotta look at Joe and say the fix is in. I mean, what the heck?
I knew that guy in high school, the fix.
All right.
Yeah.
No score. Fullerton College and San Diego City. We're getting set to come up to halftime in just a little bit. And Fullerton on the near sideline is going to toss this one in. And it looks like Almeida will throw this one in, and that will take us to the half. So halftime here between these two sides makes it no score. Joseph Pavlenko to my right, Mark Pavlovich to my right as well. Becky Nguyen behind the controls, and our sideline reporter Caleb Ramos is also here as well. Joseph Abdel over to the camera well to our right-hand side. We're going to bring in Caleb Ramos here in just a couple of moments to give us a little update from down on the field. But you look at the first half, first 45 between these two sides. Officially no score between Fullerton and San Diego City. You are watching Fullerton College Soccer here on Hornet Radio. So, Caleb, I'm going to bring you in on this in just a couple of moments. Very quickly, before I do bring you into this, the number one thing that I do want to do is make sure that I actually finish communicating that I'm going to bring Caleb in to the broadcast in just a couple of moments and communicate that to him downstairs.
Whoa.
But, Caleb, as we do bring you back in here to the broadcast, you look at how the sidelines have reacted. You already told us what it's like in terms of each team trying to keep themselves warm, what the energy is like. But I want to go to what your observations were in that first half. It was a quick 45.
Yeah, from what I've seen, both teams are playing very physical, as Joe thought they would earlier. They've been pushing, shoving back and forth. We've seen a couple of calls. Neither side have been happy with either of them, but looking from this, I think we should expect to see the same, if not more, in the second half once the intensity ramps up.
You mentioned that intensity. Both of these two sides have been very good second half programs. Now, if you're looking at it in terms of the unofficial stats, Fullerton College with an unofficial 1 shot. On the other side, San Diego City an unofficial 5 shots. If you're Fullerton College and what you have seen so far from this program throughout the season, what do they have to do to make sure that they get themselves more shots and more chances in the second half?
It's controlling the ball. I mean, you just got to look at the kind of runs that they've been on. They've been able to control the ball well. They just haven't been getting the looks that they want down near the box. The Knights defense collapsing really well and forcing them to make bad passes and bad shots.
So we're going to bring it back up here. Caleb, thank you very much. Actually, if you want to bring it back up here and talk with Joseph Abdel here at the half in just a couple of moments, as we are going to have our halftime in just a few seconds. Ryan Osborne, Joseph Abdel, as we bring in Joseph. Joseph, you take a look at the state overall and then also Southern California. There's a lot going on bracket-wise. Who got into the playoffs? Who did well? It's a whole host of information that has to be developed and understood at the same time, but there's some teams that were very impressive. When you look at Southern California, what team popped off the page for you?
I definitely think Fullerton in that second half. I don't want to be a homer, but Fullerton in that second half of the season popped off for sure. I definitely think Irvine Valley won the OEC. 14 games, 10 wins, 3 losses, and only 1 draw. But for the next 10 minutes, I'd like to kind of highlight all of the OEC and a little bit of the state in general for the playoff picture. But before we do that, I'd like to congratulate, as Ryan Osborne would say, Gridiron Football for the win versus REC Tigers, 40-30, to finish the season 7-3 and win their bowl game. For the last day of the OEC play, Irvine Valley took on Golden West. Irvine Valley was away and won 3-2. Home, Saddleback also won 3-1 versus Santiago Canyon. Santa Ana 0, hosted by Cypress 3. And, of course, on the last day of play, Fullerton College winning 2-1 against Orange Coast. Now, for the regular season standings for the OEC, first off, of course, the winners, the IVC, 14 games played, of course, them 10 wins, 3 losses, 1 draw. Cypress in second place, 9 wins, 2 losses, 3 draws. Fullerton, your Hornets, 14 games, 7 wins, 2 losses, 2 losses, 5 draws, my apologies. Golden West in 4th, Saddleback in 5th, Santa Ana 6th, Orange Coast 7th, and Santiago Canyon 8th. Welcome, Caleb Ramos.
Thank you. It's nice to be up in the booth in the heat.
It's a little warm up here, isn't it? It's much better than outside. I'm outside on the camera, and you're outside reporting.
Yeah, it's definitely nicer in here. Now, you were talking about going over the standings. I mentioned during the pregame that the Pacific Coast Athletic Conference, one of only 2 conferences to get 4 teams in the playoffs, Cuyamaca, Miracosta, San Diego City, and Palomar. The other one, like I mentioned, is the OEC. Irvine Valley, Cypress, Fullerton, and Golden West. So, very high level of competition in these 2 conferences here, Joseph.
Yeah, and we've seen it throughout OEC, watching OEC, and of course Fullerton. It's been competitive. It's been a very competitive first half of the season. Didn't go the way they wanted, but Fullerton got hot when it mattered second half of the season, and were able to sneak into the playoffs. And it's all about getting hot when it matters, especially with a format like playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, getting hot when it mattered. They haven't lost since October 17th. You look at the scores: 1-0 win, 2-0 win, 1-0 win, 3-0 win, 2-2 tie, 3-0 win, 0-0 tie, 2-1 win coming into today. They have been fantastic at keeping other teams off the board. Hard to do against a team like San Diego City, who has 66 goals on the season and 24 in their last 5 games. But they've done it so far, only giving up 5 shots.
And what was interesting to me, the most interesting stat to me, was Fullerton set 9 shutouts on the season. They're leading the OEC, 9 shutouts. Second place, there's 3 teams, Cypress, Irvine Valley, and Golden West, with 6 shutouts. But 9 shutouts, I think that just attests to the defense and Steven Martinez's play this season.
Yeah, and Andrew Ariola as well. He's been very, very nice for them on the back line from what I'm seeing down on the field. And he is also in the midst of a record-setting day. He's tied with defensive guy Evan Yole from 2 years ago and last year with 40 games started. If the Hornets can move on and get one more playoff game, he will have solo hold of that record with 41.
I would like to also add defensively as a goalkeeper, Steven Martinez. He's number 5 in all of 3C2A for save percentage, and as well as leading the OEC in 4 statistical categories. He's leading the OEC here in save percentage, like I mentioned, number 5 in all of the 3C2A. For OEC-wise, he's leading goals against. He's leading goals against average. He's also second place for saves in total, just behind Diego Saldivar from Santiago Canyon with 103 saves on the season. A lot of saves. Steve Martinez, 65, tied with Trevor Jones for second and third place. But yeah, 103 saves on the season. That's also a great stat for Diego Saldivar.
Yeah, and you mentioned goals against average. Steven Martinez, top 10 in the entire state of California for that. So he has been fantastic in the net for the Hornets.
I'd also like to talk a little bit about, in general, of the whole state playoff-wise. I know we got the playoff a couple of scores coming in today. I know we were the last game that were able to take place. OEC-wise, the scores, Miracosta 2, Golden West 0. Cypress 1, beat Palomar 0. Long Beach 2, Irvine Valley 1. And, of course, 0-0 here in Fullerton at Hal Sherbeck Field. Any thoughts from those 4 OEC games?
Yeah, I mean, you just said it, right? This is the only game that hasn't been decided, and all 3 OEC teams lost. So if Fullerton wins tonight, they could be the last OEC team standing, even with that rough start to the season, as you mentioned.
And that just attests to how, like we said, getting hot early in the season, beautiful turnaround. It's something that Coach Greg and Kenny mentioned. We're back. Right. Definitely back, and they're looking to get that win for the OEC, being the sole survivor from the conference.
Yeah, and I think one more thing that is going to play into this game is Coach Greg's and Kenny's playoff experience, right? They've been here for 9 seasons, and they've gone to the playoffs in almost every year, right? So they have that playoff experience. The Knights, San Diego, haven't been to the playoffs in 9 years. Head coach Chris Tolles is only in his 4th year, so he hasn't had that taste of playoff experience that Coach Kenny and Coach Greg have both had. So I think that will play a factor into the second half adjustments as well.
Exactly, and Fullerton's coming off being three-time OEC champions, 2019, of course, 2022, and their impressive 2023 season where they went 11-1-2. So like you said, that playoff experience can definitely show up and lead them to another state championship.
Yeah, plus Coach Aviles has won, before coming into this year, he had won 4 out of the last 5 OEC Coach of the Year awards. So being able to do that and having that experience, as we both mentioned, that'll be a massive deal coming into the second half, which we are about 4 minutes away from.
Also, offensively as a team, I would like to give a shout out to IVC. IVC, 21 games played. Their goal for average is 55. They're leading the OEC. Cypress in second place. Fullerton's only 4th place with 29. That's a big difference. What has been the difference from the season? How they were able to come back, even though their goal for average is only 29.
I mean, I think that it's their defense, obviously, right? They've been fantastic at keeping teams away from their own net. And you mentioned Fullerton having the most shutouts in the OEC. It wouldn't shock me if IVC is somewhere up there as well. That, or they're just allowing a very, very low amount of goals and just doing exactly as much as needed to be able to get past whoever their opponent is.
Let's talk a little bit about the power rankings for the entire state. We know we mentioned we're going to talk a little bit about the entire state. Santa Rosa in 1st, Santa Monica 2nd, Oxnard 3rd, a familiar foe, Cuyamaca, El Camino 5th, Hartnell 6th, Evergreen 7th, Cosumnes River 8th, LA Mission 9, and Cañada 10 in the power rankings. 16 wins for Santa Rosa, 1 loss, 3 ties on the season. Cuyamaca is a team that Fullerton, if they're able to win this, are going to have to face in the next round, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes. Whoever moves on after today plays Cuyamaca in the next round. 3 games combined between the two Knights played them twice because they're in conference, winning one, losing one. Their first win was 2-1. Their second game against them was a loss, 3-1. So split decision there. But the Hornets have only played Cuyamaca once, struggled a bit, lost 4-1, but that was early in the season before they were able to get going. That was their, I believe, 6th game of the season, and as you mentioned, getting hot at the right time always is able to be the essential part of a program's success in the playoffs.
Let's wrap this up real quick. Let's do a recap of the state scores so far. Golden West, of course, lost to Mira Costa, as mentioned earlier. Glendale beat Bakersfield at Bakersfield 5-4. A high-scoring game for sure. Double overtime win. Sorry, men's soccer. Skyline beat Chappaw. Cypress, of course, 1-0 against Palomar. Feather River 6-0 in a stomping of Foothill. Fresno City 5-0 against Contra Costa. Los Positas beat Butte 1-0. San Bernardino Valley 2-1 against Moore Park. 3-1. Lake Tahoe beat Clovis. And, of course, the games that are still to play. Long Beach Diddy beat IVC. Still need to play one more game, Pasadena City and Los Angeles City after this game.
Yeah, great way to wrap it up as we bring Ryan Osborne back onto the air. For this second half, we have about 35 seconds left to go. And I'll get back into the cold. Ryan Osborne, I'd like to welcome you back onto the air.
Thank you very much, Caleb, as we get set for this second half of play. I mean, you don't have to go out into the cold yet. We'll give you one more spot later on. But, again, you don't got to go out into the cold quite yet. But we will get there in just a little bit. We're getting set to come back from halftime. I'm Ryan Osborne, joined by everyone else, literally everyone. Anyone you could think of that has been on the broadcast so far this season, they are on the broadcast with us today as well. But as we get set for the second half, it's going to be an interesting one to see what Fullerton College does, and then also on the flip side, what San Diego City is able to adjust to, because Fullerton College, so far in this one, they haven't had the offensive output that they are looking for. San Diego City can basically mirror the exact same thing. However, the thing that can be said is that San Diego City is on pace for their usual offensive output, as they are halfway to their normal 10 shots per game. Joe, I'll bring it over to your side. Fullerton College had some good offensive possession in the first 15 to 20 minutes. After that, we almost never saw them in the attacking third again. They got a couple chances towards the end in the last, we'll say, 90 seconds or so, but they did not control the way that this game was played in that middle portion of the 45.
Yeah, that's something that Mark and I kind of touched upon in a conversation about, possession only tells part of the story. You can maintain possession of the ball, but at what part of the field are you maintaining that possession of the ball? Is it your opponent's attacking third? Is it the midfield? Or is your opponent just ramming the ball down your throat and you're managing to keep it in your third of the field and keep yourself alive, keep yourself treading water, keep yourself afloat despite them having a relentless attack? You manage to stop those attacks and then can buy some time by playing pass around.
And let me just chime in here, because yes, it's the playoffs, but it's the men's and women's playoffs right now. And of course, nobody mentioned anything about the women playing, who are probably the better soccer players altogether, and never looked at the schedules for the women's side and how they have done so far.
Wait, you mean these schedules that were also on the table?
Okay. Yeah. So
we
need to bring that up
How
here.
How dare they?
That happened here
you guys
on
are just
Hornet
mean,
Radio.
And the cold is making you guys meaner.
No way. Hey,
absolutely.
Cypress and Saddleback women, I already
They're
said.
very good.
You're a homer.
No.
That's true. That's true.
Homer. I know quality soccer when I see it.
Speaking of, we get set for this second half as Fullerton College makes a couple of substitutions. that will change the way that they attack. They bring on Jacob Leggett on the near side. He did not play in the first 45, and he's going to have a chance to play here in the second 45. We will see what Fullerton College can do. If you are a Fullerton fan who has been watching on throughout the entire season on the weekday kickoff or football Friday, you are looking at this team and saying, all right, how do we see them get into gear? And the exact answer is the way that they've had success in the back half of the season. You have to attack from the wings. We saw them have so much success, so many opportunities and chances to score all year long as they got their success through the wings and let the spacing create itself. But they have to be able to use their speed to their advantage as well. Here's a chance for Viafana. Viafana wants to go towards Leggett on the left-hand side, towards the corner. Leggett's not going to catch up to it in time, and that will be a goal kick coming up. San Diego City here in the second half will be going from our left to our right, and Fullerton attacking from our right to our left. Again, Fullerton in navy blue, and San Diego City in the all-white.
I love both these uniforms.
Nice, clear, and legible numbers.
I tell you, this is so sweet. You can actually figure out who's out there instead of going, who is that?
Yeah, it is quite nice to see between these two sides, and especially, Mark, when you can see the numbers at nighttime. It's very nice.
That's it, you know.
Give a lot of credit to these two sides because you do see a lot of kits that are made in the last 10 years because you have the advantage of these big companies who are finding new ways to find camouflage, sublimation, gradients as well, and they look cool when you're up close. But from a broadcaster's perspective, we like big block numbers that are easy to see from the sidelines.
Maybe you just need to get glasses, man.
We like big block numbers.
I'm with Ryan.
On the sidelines. That ball goes out, far side touchline. Fullerton College is going to throw it in. So, attacking-wise, they bring out Exantis still for San Diego City. He has played the majority of this match, and so far with Exantis, he scored a game-winning goal in the 86th minute against Topsy Bishop to win his City League championship when he was in high school. That was in 2022. Had a big 25-yard dribble and then sent it from there. And again in 2022 to win his team in Crawford High School, a win over Bishop in the City League championship game.
You know what I like in this game too, guys? The referee has not played any important part in this. Joe, you brought it up earlier about that too. No yellow cards in this match. Nobody being talked to. Nobody getting in trouble. And it's sort of nice and refreshing to see a soccer game that's controlled by the players, not by the referee in the middle of the field.
Well, that was something that I was kind of wondering coming into the second half, if we would see Fullerton become a little more physical. Both teams seemed a little tame when it came to some of the physicality in the first half. Not that I'm complaining, but just they seem a little tame, especially from Fullerton, who, like Ryan and Caleb were talking about, can be a more physical team on the pitch. And so I'm wondering if this second half, if we'll start to see some of that physicality emerge, especially, I mean, this is playoff time, guys. This is do or die, win or go home. Other cliche, put it here. Think of second different cliche, insert here.
Jacob Leggett trying to get away from the cliches and attack on the left-hand side. Can't get that pass to connect, and San Diego City is out and away with it. They've got an opportunity with Edgar Garcia, who's going to look for Torres. Torres can't catch up to it, but it does go off the head of Esparza. Esparza now finds this one flying into the air, and Kevin Nguyen out of Cathedral Catholic will drop it down. Nguyen with Leo Loya Alejandre. Alejandre played MLS Next as a part of Chula Vista FC. He actually, in his high school days, scored 2 goals against Hilltop as a senior. Got his first collegiate point and assist against Imperial Valley earlier on this season. As this one should have been a handball, goes off of a San Diego City player and will end up being recovered by Hadzi Babic.
That was some great heads-up playing from Edgar Garcia, though. The very clean slide tackle. Yeah, maybe that's a handball. And then the quick heads-up play of, oh, I'm close enough to this. Let me swing my leg out and make sure Fullerton doesn't make something out of the fact that I kind of stumbled, tripped, lost my feet for a second, but he was still able to keep Fullerton from making a play of that.
And handballs will not be called if they don't think it enhances your advantage. If it doesn't enhance your advantage, you play on. And that is what has been adopted on the NCAA and also here in the community college
Then
level.
it should be a handball advantage call, not a hand. Words have meaning, Mark.
You know, but that's what I've been told. If it doesn't give you an advantage or make the play to your ability.
That's semantics and that's subjective, and
You dislike?
patooey. I do not like it.
This will be offsides if San Diego City catches up to it. They do, so it is in fact an offside.
So you'd like the handballs call?
I think advantage, would we say that's different than if it's a purposeful or an incidental handball, or are we still flirting with the same sort of semantics?
Well, they actually say that if it's incidental, but you do it to your advantage, you know it just happened, but you're taking it in a position that's going to give you an advantage, that shouldn't be allowed. When they do, it's really when it's the advantage.
I think you play semantics like that, and that's how you end up with a league where somebody will hold the ball, take 3 steps, and then put up a shot at the basket.
Jacob Leggett's going to catch up to this as this one is swung over towards his left. He's got a lot of room to work with now towards the corner, going 1-on-2, gets away from it, and now inside the box, takes a shot that ends up going in on net, and the save is going to be made by Diego Garcia. Everyone directly in front of us getting excited at the same time, and we have our first good chance of the second half.
What you miss, though, Ryan, is the run during the shot, because that blue streak, if that ball gets bobbled, bang, baby, bang, they're up 1-0, and that's it. That's what you would have seen on this field. Give the goalie credit from handling that, and that's one thing that they never get, Joe. Goalies never get credit unless it's a clean sheet, and if they give up that obscure goal, everybody goes, oh, if they would have been better in the net.
I mean, isn't that the same with pitchers in baseball?
Well, we know if they wear blue like Fullerton, they cheat. So that's okay. We don't even want to talk about them.
Ball goes over towards the far side.
Not Fullerton.
I was going to say, are you implying that?
Not Fullerton. Fullerton doesn't cheat. We're talking about an L.A. team.
Okay. 37 and a half minutes to go here in the second half as Fullerton College is trying to get themselves into the next round of the playoffs, looking to play Cuyamaca.
Also,
No
I think
score.
that'd be about 7.5 minutes played, Ryan.
Yeah, just about that, but I'm not going to do that math.
So we'd be in the 52nd minute of the game?
I'll take your word for it.
Oh,
yeah,
wait.
let's do
Yeah,
that.
sure, yeah.
We all know I didn't go to school for math. I went for the journalism part. I am doing the journalism part. That's your guys' job to do the math.
You went for the talking part.
Exactly. On the left side, here's Cisco Torres. Torres, the all-conference member, gets it to the sideline. He's going to swing it towards the middle. An opportunity for the Hornets goes past 2, but no one was really expecting that ball to get back over. And it will be spun back towards the middle where Exantis is going to catch up to it and get fouled.
Whose left side? Are you talking about your left side,
I said
or are
the
you
left-hand
talking about,
side.
or are
If
you talking about San Diego City and people watching them? Then it would be the audience left-hand side, or is it the right side?
The audience is facing the same way that we are. So
Stage
if it's on
left.
the left, it's on the left.
No, I think that'd be stage right.
There you go, stage right. Well, if this is a
Technically,
stage,
yeah, this
stage
would be
right
stage
would be,
left.
Joe's absolutely right. Stage right would be over
your
there.
left.
House left is that.
Exactly. I had my directions correct. Here's Jared Rodriguez getting that
Remember,
one
he said he's a
deflected off him.
linguistics guy.
Oh, that's
Exactly.
right. He doesn't talk numbers.
Back to back is what I talk.
Pumpkin pie and eggnog is what
true.
I talk.
That's true. Might have to get 2 of them, so that way I can also have pumpkin pie and eggnog.
And with whipped cream. Remember,
That's
whipped
true.
cream's included.
That's true.
One of us picked who was going to win it.
35 and a half minutes to go.
You like pumpkin pie, Joe? Because I'm going to get a big one.
Like one of those giant ones from Costco.
Yeah. Ooh, I like that thought.
That's fine with me. It's cheaper.
I don't care. As long as it tastes like pumpkin and there's at least a quart of whipped cream to put on there, I'm happy.
And if he's going to Costco, he can get you like 7 gallons of eggnog for a real steal.
There we go.
There we go.
Cisco Torres will step up to this. Fullerton College back on the field trying to get their opening marker.
And he could buy some coffee while he's there, too.
Ooh, yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, hold on. Now we're pushing it. I don't need to buy coffee. Coffee's already bad enough.
Are you balking that because the thought of never mind?
Here's Viafana on the left. He's got the ball. He's going to swing it over towards Leggett. Right back to Viafana. Viafana, little bumper. Right back to Viafana. They play catch, and it will be taken away. Interesting set play there, but it's going to turn into a counterattack. Here's Exontis. Exontis, he's going to scoop it over to his left hip. He has lost the momentum that he was looking for, but now still has it looking to his right hip. Now to McElligott. McElligott. 6 goals, 6 assists taken away. The Hornets have it, and they are able to send it off to San Diego City. So just a interesting set play for Fullerton off the free kick. It turns into a turnover, and then quickly the other way, an odd-numbered attack, guys.
And, Joe, they go to Exontis. You can see who the leader is of this team. You've got to run on the left-hand side. You've got people free on the right-hand side. You give it up for a second. They give it back to him. If I'm defensively, if I can stay on his hip, I shouldn't worry about this game.
Well, I mean, again, that's what we saw 2 years ago when the two prolific, scoring feet, the two prolific scorers on the Fullerton College squad, Angel Silviano and Misael Gonzalez, near the end of the season into postseason, everybody knew if we kind of ice out these guys and try to cut off the opportunities with them, they're the team leaders. They're the team scorers. It's going to slow down the momentum. It's going to make it harder for them to score because even if they don't have the best scoring angle, the team wants to feed them the ball. And I think that's what we're kind of seeing here with San Diego City. They want to feed that ball to Exontis. They want him to find the back of the net.
And he already has an Offensive Player of the Year award to his credit last year in his conference, and then came back and got first-team All-Conference this season as well. He has a very storied resume so far in his young career, as this one is intercepted by Esparza, nearly taken by Almeida. Fullerton can't catch up to it, and finally, on a 4-on-6 goes San Diego City. They realize they don't have the numbers, and they'll swing it all the way back. You speak of James Lee Exontis, 13 goals, 7 assists, 33 points. He scored both in the matchup against Cuyamaca to win against the Cuyamaca Coyotes, the defending state champions. San Diego City is trying to get themselves on the board here. Little turn over towards McElligott, trying to swing it back towards the middle towards Exontis and Esparza. Esparza has it, right foot, McElligott, now near side to Nguyen. Nguyen looking for a teammate. He's going to have to roll this one over towards the left where it goes to Detmers. Detmers swings it towards the middle, and Martinez will end up making the save.
You know, another thing we're seeing, or at least that I'm noticing in Fullerton, aside from it seems like the opening minutes of the second half, they're really piling on the pressure. They're trying to take the ball down the wings, and feed it to players down in the center, like they're making a run right now with, who is that, number 23 on the Fullerton, so that'd be Bravo?
Diego Bravo, yes indeed.
And they are using that to feed the ball to the center and get into San Diego's attacking third. And we've had what Mark felt like he didn't see enough of in the first half. We've had a couple dangerous possessions and drives from Fullerton.
Yeah, and I think what you're seeing is you're seeing diversity with Fullerton. There's, again, when we talk about big scores, if you get on a team where, like you brought back 2 years ago, everybody just is astounded by those big scores, and everybody else gets lost. With Fullerton this year, I tell you what, it's a great fruit salad out there that you could take to a New Year's Eve party for the simple reason that you don't know who's going to score for this Fullerton College team.
I still wouldn't draft that fruit salad round one.
Wow. Yeah, but it'd probably win the state title.
Just not in round one. Here's Leggett. He's going to take a corner kick on the near side of the field. Just a few moments ago, Fullerton on a set play just weren't able to connect. Here's Leggett, right-footed, up into the air. It's going back post, a chance for the Hornets, and that is cleared away for the moment being. Fullerton has to reset, now getting back to the touchline where it will go and get switched away from Mejia Juarez. Nearly taken away by San Diego City with Exontis, and he does exactly that. Dribbling past two guys. And he'll get fouled in behind the play, and that will produce at least a booking.
And there was a grab of the jersey to start with. Then there was a pull back to start with, and then a takedown along the way.
I saw him grab the back of his calf. I didn't see what sort of contact was made, but we know turf isn't fun to fall on. It's not fun to slide on, and I'm not the one that fell. So I can't say how he feels, but the ref did have to look at the San Diego side and say, guys, let's calm down a little bit.
And Ryan, this is where you have to ask Caleb, because the coaches are now talking to each other about that last play. Yeah. They turned and started mouthing off. Kenny's responding to him, and Kenny's not happy with their statement down there. It's starting to get chippy, and the coaches aren't being nice to each other and making statements about what just happened. Yeah, Caleb's even listening.
We will go to Caleb once both sides calm down a little bit, because I hear that mics can be very hot sometimes and pick up quite a bit. So we'll get to Caleb in just a little bit as he continues to listen in to what the back and forth is between both sides, and Exontis is being attended to on the field. We'll get more updates on him in just a little bit as he continues. Like we mentioned with Exontis, he is an exceptional player. Out of Crawford High School, had a five-game goal-scoring streak that included goals against Cuyamaca, San Diego Mesa, Imperial Valley, and Palomar, and then also had 7 goals in that span. In fact, guys, he's scored in each of his last 4 matches, dating back to, if I'm not mistaken, that Southwestern matchup as well. And on the 24th of October, he was named the player of the month. Now, the card is coming out for Exontis, so they're going to double-check on him, which if they do take him out on the card, that is not going to make the San Diego City side very happy, Mark.
Yeah, and I saw a player today in the Cypress game get taken off of the cart, and it was a very legal play. It was the goalie running to get the ball at the edge of the box, the player's coming down thinking they're going to beat the goalie. The goalie goes down, and Joe, the player, catches his heel on the goalie's shoulder and flips. They had to carry him off the field. Every once in a while when things like this happen, it's not that it's a cheap shot or anything else. It just happens.
Well, and it's the other thing of, again, we have all talked about this. It is a cold night. It is about 54 degrees out here tonight right now. And, I mean, everything stings a little bit more. And then you think of the turf. That is basically carpet. That is carpet on concrete, hopefully pad underneath that carpet, and then a bunch of tiny rubber pellets that are also cold that won't feel good. And so you have to take all of that into account. He fell. It was unfortunate. It was a bit of an aggressive, cheeky play. I don't think anybody meant for anything to happen, obviously, but I think there is a multitude of factors, as with any injury in a sport, that leads to sometimes unfortunate circumstances.
Yeah, and Joe, we're actually going to send it down to Caleb Ramos here in just a little bit. Caleb, without giving us the actual things that were said, what was the essence and the energy and the feeling on the field as you were listening into that, we'll say, lively conversation?
It was getting chippy. The coaches were yelling back and forth about the player. Obviously, can't repeat exactly what was said, but it was definitely a little bit heated down here for sure.
Spirited conversation, we can say.
Yeah.
Well, at least you're not cold anymore because it's heated down there, so you don't need to come back up here.
They're a little far from me, so I can't exactly feel it too much.
So we're going to get back to the live gameplay. Caleb, actually, you can come on up here after this. We want to thank Caleb for being our sideline reporter for the remainder of the night, and he's going to join us in the booth in just a couple of moments. So again, thank you, Caleb, as we get back to the live game action here. So ball over towards the far side. Exontis had to take a seat, and he's being attended to by the trainers. This is a big moment for San Diego City because, again, he is their leading scorer. He's kind of the catalyst for everything offensively that they want to do, and it's going to be a throw-in on the near side of the field.
But does this spur them up? Does this wake them up? Do they say, let's go win it for
I was going to say
player X, Y, or Z?
The sports psychology of it, this could either break the mentality of the team and throw off their momentum for the rest of the game, or like you said, Mark, let's get even. Fullerton did this to our guy. We are not going to let them come out of this game a winner. Let's show them,
And I think you mentioned that, Joe. It's the let's get even, and not in a sense of physicality-wise or repeating action, as this one is lined down the middle. It goes off of a San Diego City player and gets kicked away. Finally, it goes to Morphine, and Morphine is going to sky this one well over top of the net. But the let's get even statement is in a sense of let's get even with a win in the score sheet, or adding to the score sheet and contributing to a win. San Diego City so far this season has, again, like we mentioned, been electric in terms of scoring overall. 66 goals to their credit, and they have continually shown that they are one of the best teams in the state at getting up and down the park. Now they're going to have to contend against a Fullerton team who has a little bit of momentum prior to that last play. Ball over towards the left-hand side where it will find its way to Anthony Detmers. Detmers looking for a teammate. He's going to find someone in Morphine. Morphine, near side of the pitch. It will go to Edgar Garcia by way of Kevin Nguyen. Nguyen gets that one tipped away, and it has to go all the way back to Garcia. Garcia, nice to get away from one, gets away from two. Morphine, who has been very active recently, will now line it over to McElligott on the far side of the field. McElligott looking for a teammate, can't get that one to connect as it goes off of Detmer's left ankle and out.
Yeah, and you realize if this goes and ends the way we're at right now, then we will go into extra time to play. If that doesn't resolve it, then we will have a shootout at the end. I love how they call them penalty kicks. I just call it a shootout.
Espinoza trying to catch up to that one. It is skied into the crowd, and it looks like this will be a very deep toss in for Fullerton College.
Get off topic. You were talking about penalties and deciders and stuff. I just always thought it was called a shootout, Mark. I didn't realize penalty shootout, yeah. Sorry, Ryan, not to steamroll your
That's
your
what they
momentum
referred
there.
to it today.
Yeah, I guess that's right. You saying that made it like glaringly be like, yeah, they needs a better name.
Yeah, it was sort of interesting when they referred to it that way, and you went, oh, that sounds so negative.
Not that I'm going to say I'm a visionary here, but Mr. Osborne, as a baseball aficionado, instead of extra innings in a World Series game, what if they did a home run bat out? A take on it. So it's almost like a home run derby, but it's like penalty kicks in soccer. One batter, one pitcher. You don't hit a dinger in 3 pitches. We swap out the batter and the pitcher.
It's almost like Joe has been talking to Rob Manfred.
Right, that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
I just think it'd make the game exciting. It's one of the, you hate to have to wait to get to it in a soccer match, but it can be, if your team wins, a heck of an exciting win. And if your team loses, it is a deflating way to lose that match because so many minutes have elapsed for you to not be able to pull out the W.
Play better, and coaches need to get their heads out of the sand and be more creative. It's not that they're going to create a new game of soccer, a new game of football, a new game of baseball, but a lot of things, the way you can play it, have been put on the shelf and bring it all back. And I think that would make the games much more exciting. Plus, if I was on the soccer field right now, it'd be very exciting because if I was wearing white, Corey Nayland, you come running at me, baby, I accidentally trip. Corey Nayland and I both tumbled down the field.
We've got a bad hip. That's not good for you.
Ah, well, that's okay. I'm already hurt. Might as well hurt someone doing it.
What the? I'm not quite sure that should be the mentality of these players, Mark.
I don't disagree there.
You know what I love is all the athletes in this room. I've watched Ryan Osborne on the ice, so he can't say anything.
Ball into the air. Fullerton trying to get that one to go towards the middle of the box. They're going to have a throw-in as Mejia Juarez is going to catch up to it.
Well,
I
Ryan,
played Corey Nealon in basketball and got run over by a fullback because I set the perfect screen on him.
well, see, and I also see you pick on Ryan for hockey, but he plays a violent sport, not like Caleb and I.
Oh, yeah, you whacking people with sticks and blades and everything else. Come on, man.
Thrown up by Pole Mounter. Down towards the goal line. A chance for the Hornets, but it's not going to connect the way that they wanted to. Jacob Leggett gets that one taken away from him, and it is Neto. Neto comes in for Exontis. Away goes San Diego City. It's a 2-on-5, essentially, and this ball goes out. And touchline awarded to San Diego City.
On these plays, you have to that was a set play right there, and Fullerton College throws everybody up on the field. And are they just faster than San Diego City, or are they able to recover and swap to defense quicker than it seems like they have most of the season?
I think you just used the magic word. I think they're quicker.
They learned how to shift gears.
Yeah, I really do.
Takedown just outside the box. The official says no.
Well, Fullerton's back to playing their physical game, it looks like, guys.
Yeah, I really do. I think they know that San Diego City is already upset, and they're saying, hey, if they've got somebody like Mark on the field, we're going to get a penalty kick here at Fullerton.
Here's Mejia Juarez. Tries to swing this one towards the middle. That should earn a corner kick, and it does exactly that. Second corner of the second half for Fullerton College. And neither team has grabbed the full possession of this game, guys.
No.
Neither team has done what they wanted to. Fullerton College, of course, very physical team, tries to control the midfield. That's their emphasis. If they can get the midfield working for them, they can control the match. That's really the way that Fullerton has played throughout the season. On the other side for San Diego City, it's run, get the ball up, attack, and take shots. If they can't do that, they have a little bit of trouble. Fullerton College is going to have a corner kick on the far side where it will be Antonio Villafana who will come up to it. Right-footed, he'll let this one fly into the air, swinging towards the middle, and it hits the wrong crossbar.
Well, and
We could use him.
from that attack on that far side, Ryan, we saw, I'm going to call it a sloppy tackle, an overly aggressive tackle from somebody from San Diego City. And some of those players might be falling into that trap of anger and aggression. Fear leads to hate. Hate leads to anger. Anger leads to the dark side.
Whoa.
You know, that sort of thing. By Fullerton's physicality, and they might be playing a little bit uncharacteristically and making some aggressive plays they might not have been making otherwise. I think if that slide tackle was closer to the goal line, we may have seen a kick given, because it was, I think, a little aggressive, but it was at the far side of the field and hard to see.
Jared Rodriguez took a seat for Villafana a few moments ago, and he's going to re-enter for Mejia Juarez.
So Joe took it much further than I did. All I said is I'd run over somebody if I was on the field. Joe took it to that dark side. Okay, what you do is you set this guy up when he comes my direction. I'm going to actually fall down, clip him right about the ankles. Joe, what are you doing with the stick? We can't have a stick out here.
Ball goes out. San Diego City happy with that one. So they've kind of been rushing through it in the last 15 minutes or so, and we are sitting at just about 16:45 left in regulation 90 between these two sides, and neither team has gotten on the board.
Ryan, you look at this 30 minutes, nobody's really made anybody feel uncomfortable in the grandstands thinking, oh, we're in trouble now.
That could be a good run at. That would have been a great run for Fullerton if they could have grabbed it and ran.
Ball was placed well. Jared Rodriguez wasn't really sure if he was going to catch up to that one, so he kind of pulls up at the last two strides. And that ball clangs around, pops around, pinballs around, and finds its way back to Fullerton College by way of Acevedo. Acevedo, high looper, looking for Leggett. Leggett having it go off of his left shoulder, and it goes down for McKelligot. McKelligot on the turn. McKelligot on a give and go. McKelligot still on the run. He's trying to beat, looks like Ariola, and Ariola is the one who comes away with the dispossess. So Ariola so far is 6 for 6 in terms of one-on-one play against guys who are trying to go on the attack. And he has had himself a good afternoon, guys.
Yeah, he's had a great, this whole Hornet squad feels leagues different than some of the plays that we saw during conference. They're quicker than I can remember, shifting gears from being in the attacking third to then having to backpedal and defend their third of the field. And they're going to, I'm not going to say they've turned a defensive play into an attacking play and created a counterattack on a dime, but they've created those defensive recoveries on a dime, it feels like.
And here's the chance for the Hornets on the right. Here's Leggett trying to drop it back. Fullerton with Villafana. He wants to load it up onto his right foot. Can't do so. Gets intercepted for a second. Now Fullerton has to backpedal and reset with Ariola. Ariola looking for a teammate. He's got Leggett. Leggett at the touchline, trying to swing it towards the middle, looking for Palacios. There's a chance for the Hornets again, and it's popped up too high and out.
Mark, I think those are the ones where it's your dominant foot, it's your non-dominant foot. You've got to knock on that goalkeeper's door and take the shot, keep them on their toes. I know it's a playoff game. You want to score the decider. You want to be the one that puts the final nail in the board. But sometimes you just got to knock on that door.
Yeah, and I think what you're looking at now is you've got to make those passes when they are there. Saw it early today, a team that passed well. That was the difference in a match this afternoon.
Ooh.
That one nearly goes in as Fullerton has to clear it off the goal line there.
I think Joe told us that one.
Just a little bit. San Diego City trying to pull momentum out of thin air at the moment.
My ticker, Mark.
I tell you.
Paul Mounter will get over towards the side, and he'll have to clear it away. So both sides now getting closer and closer to getting the opening marker, and we crawl down towards the end of 90. This is off of Neto. Neto looking for McElligott. Doesn't go out. McElligott keeps it in. He's trying to look for a teammate. Now lines it down onto the floor. Fullerton on the takeaway. Here's a shot that ends up going high, and it will go off the football bars once again. But San Diego City guys came maybe a foot and a half from scoring.
When it came off the body, I actually thought there was a possibility of going in, and I thought, oh, wow.
I thought, yeah, like you, Mark, I thought it maybe had the hook to find the back of the net, and I really thought Fullerton was about to look at themselves being down in this match 1-0.
Yeah, it's just things. I mean, those are the shots that I saw this afternoon in the Cypress game, and when they finally got an opportunity to bury one, they did for a 1-0 lead, and they end up moving on as they beat Palomar today. And they will move on to take on Oxnard.
You want to talk about an impressive goal. That ball was taken off of a bounce, off the chest, back off the bounce, and then just absolutely lasered with an outside twist to the far post and in. Lots of contact there. Paul Mounter's on the floor. Coach Castellanos asking for a card. Coach Aviles looking at the sideline and saying, guys, let's settle down. Don't worry about it. He's okay. But coaching staffs are going to advocate for their players as much as humanly possible. Coach Aviles being told
to get back in the box.
To get back.
Yeah.
Well, especially when the visiting team is that close, you really have to mind your space. Like you said earlier, Ryan, you can't wander up and down the sideline like you might be used to.
And there are coaches that will tell you that certain fields have home field advantage when they're out here. So those are the things that we're looking at. You know, and this really is a very good place to play soccer, and I'm sure people will say every once in a while that, hey, if you're good with the referees will be good to you.
Here's Cisco Torres. He's got a big leg, and he's going to pop this one up towards the center of the box. Goes off of two. Looks like it goes back towards Detmers. Detmers will see this one go back to Fullerton College thanks to Ariola, who tries to kind of roll this one over towards the right, and it goes the way of San Diego City. Nice little dummy there that was given by Esparza, Mark. It's an excellent play there because he knows that he has someone on his right hip. If he stops that ball, he's going to be dispossessed. In this case, he lets it go through his legs, goes past the Fullerton attacker, and away goes San Diego City.
We'll see what happens because we're down to our last 10 minutes
And the fans are starting to kind of come alive in this game.
Well, if you're a Hornet fan, Joe, this is where you think about all the previous playoff games here, that there was hope. We all thought they were going to do well. We love Greg and Kenny. And then we walked to the gate with everybody and went, oh, man, can't believe we didn't get out of the first round. So if you're a fan of the Hornets, you're just saying to yourself, ooh, let's not have that again.
Here's a chance for Acevedo. That one's cleared away. San Diego City sideline getting increasingly more vocal, and you like to see the energy. You like to see both sidelines start to get into it a little bit more, especially as this night continues to crawl on. We mentioned it before, Fullerton College has had a couple of playoff games here at Hal Sherbeck Field in each of the last 2 seasons. They won one, they lost one. The one that they lost was on penalty kicks. Liner goes off the awaiting foot of, it looked like Fabian Perez, and that's going to go off to the side. Make that Ruben Morales Guerrero.
And the thing is, as much as we talk about how great the programs are and everything else, every young man that's on the field right now will tell you, and there's no such thing as a good loss. As we've got pushing and shoving, Ryan, going on in the middle of the field, you had your head down for a second. And the players, if you watch who's mixing it up out there, they are shoving each other. Why there is no play?
Oh, yeah. I think it's safe to say the physicality quotient of the game is up at least 13.2% mark.
Yeah, I mean, Edwin Morphin isn't taking any lip off of anybody when you look at him out there. So Edwin Morphin Jr. is sort of got that attitude that, hey, you took out our best player. Best thing we can do is win this game for San Diego City.
Under 8.5 to play in this one. Caleb, I go back over to you. You saw how heated it got between both sidelines, but now it's a question of how do you keep your composure?
I think that just maintaining control of the game, not letting your anger get the best of you, like Joe mentioned, not falling to the dark side, letting either your blue or white jerseys turn red. You know what I mean? You can't let it control you. You have to keep your head in the game and make the best choices you can.
You're right, Caleb. You have to be like Elsie. You have to let it go. Especially on a cold night like this where the cold maybe doesn't bother you anyway.
Especially when you're defying gravity, right? I mean, you know.
I feel like Ryan's turning green with envy by not having any of these excellent puns.
You know,
I'm sure with envy on whoever ordered the hot dogs directly below us because they smell fantastic.
They'd be great for breakfast, Mark.
You know what? Yeah, a little chili on top. And you know what? If you actually went to the new restaurant, Come to Oz, you would probably find that chili dog, and it would be sprinkled with green and gold little lettering on the side saying, "Find the wizard."
Don't forget the pink, Mark.
Well, we know how Caleb likes his hot dogs.
Those
Rare.
pickled onions.
Rare.
Pickled onions. That's what
I
that's
love
what Caleb-
pickled onions. I love pickled onions.
I love pickled herring.
Both of these two teams are trying to take pickled onions, pickled herring, and mix it together and find the opening goal in this one. We're under 7 minutes to play in the final 90 between these two sides. Again, as we have mentioned throughout, it is the first round of the SoCal Regional Playoff. Whoever wins this game will move on to face Cuyamaca at Cuyamaca. Fullerton College looking to get their second playoff win in 2 seasons. Last year ended with the loss to Long Beach in the final frames. Ball is cleared out, and again we creep closer towards the end of regulation play.
Wait a minute. Long Beach City College, they won again this year in the first round.
That they did.
Yeah. 6 minutes left.
It's going to be a nice weekend. Pumpkin pie.
Backspun, near side, goes out before Palacios can catch up to it. Again, Palacios so far this season, 9 goals, 1 assist, 19 points, was named a second-team All-OEC member. He had a hat-trick against Santa Monica and scored against Orange Coast. It was the game winner, which locked in a win for Fullerton College.
You know what everybody's saying right now? Joe and Caleb have no place to go, so we might as well just go into overtime and then go to a shootout.
Reminder for anyone who is unaware of the rules in the 3C2A, if we do go to extra time, there will be 2 15-minute halves, no golden goal. So it doesn't matter if one team scores, the clock and the game will not end on that first score. It will be 2 exact 15-minute halves of extra time, and they must be completed before anything else can happen. That ball goes up. So if either team scores, the game doesn't end. You keep going until you complete the 2 15-minute halves.
Well, and I don't want to lean into more cliches tonight, guys, but as we're less than 5 minutes left on the clock and time continues to tick down, both of these squads, especially in the second half, really are giving this everything they have. Again, at the risk of doing another cliche, they are leaving it all on the field.
Yeah, and I'm going to say that we're going to have at least 6 to 7 minutes of stoppage time in this second half.
I don't disagree with you,
This
Mark,
has been physical.
Not only physical, but you also have a couple of injuries that we have had to stop for as well, which unfortunately we haven't seen Exontis since he had to be subbed out due to an injury. And it's unfortunate because you love to see both of these two teams at full strength and have their best talent and their best opportunities to win. It produces a more, not only just a fun game, but a better chance for both these two teams to display themselves at their best. And unfortunately with Exontis, he ends up getting the injury earlier. He hasn't been able to return, and it's going to hurt San Diego City in terms of not seeing their top scorer out there. However, they do have a couple more guys depth-wise that have helped them out. It looks like McKelligot, after taking that kick off the volley, ended up coming down just a little awkwardly, so he's being attended to by the the athletic training staff. And that ball ended up going up well over top and out of play for a goal kick. And I think where that ball landed, that might be the kicker that the neighbors were talking about.
It probably is. Jack Overton's now in the field for the Hornets, and Jack is just he went out there and he started talking to his fellow players, and you can see there's somebody out there that says, come on, let's just finish the game and win it before we go into overtime.
If you're looking to see what Jack ends up giving his team, it's a lot of speed. He's also very good at the possession game. Palacios, who he enters for, is more of the possession type player, that possession type 9 that you're looking for, or a striker. Jack is more of a guy who is going to, we'll say, muddy up the waters a little bit. Very physical, highly physical, and his best play is going back up towards the top of the box, getting his back towards the goalkeeper, and distributing to his right or left.
Well,
so we'll see what changes that ends up making for the attack.
The thing that I locked on to, Ryan, is when you were talking about Jack Overton, you mentioned Jack be nimble, Jack be quick.
Well, and we also have a replacement out there. Kevin Gonzalez came out for San Diego City for the injured player, so he's out there now.
Ball goes out. Exontis is the one who gives it back over to his teammates. Here's Torres, second on the team in scoring. Esparza still with it. Little tip away by Fullerton, and they're able to clear. Here's Villafana. He gets taken down from behind. That has got to be a card, and it is exactly that. So the official is right on it. He's going to call over Morfin Jr., and he will end up getting booked with under a minute to play in the 90. So we'll call that the 89th minute, where Morfin Jr. gets a booking for San Diego City.
That looked like he hooked the arm, tossed the hip. A whole lot of physicality happened very quickly there.
It's one of those cases where you know you have to commit the foul, because if not, it's an odd man to counterattack the other way.
Yeah, and he comes out of the game so he doesn't get another card. So if it comes to a shootout, he can be here.
Here's a chance for the Hornets as Leggett gets to it for a second. That will be a corner kick for Fullerton. Here's a great spot, guys, for Fullerton College to get on the board. You've got less than about, we'll say, 45 seconds in regulation time.
And we'll say 7 minutes in stoppage time.
I don't doubt that at all, as this is going to be a substitution for Fullerton. David Suarez will enter. He's going to come in quickly as Fullerton will get a little bit more size on the pitch. He comes in for Morales Guerrero. On the far side is Jacob Leggett. He's going to present a secondary option on the right. David Suarez will come up to the ball, and he's going to kick it away. Leggett enters the box with Paul Mounter in addition to Cisco Torres and also Andrew Ariola. Ariola had the first goal for Fullerton against Orange Coast last week to finish off their regular season. A chance with under a minute to play to win this one for Fullerton College. They've got a corner kick coming up. San Diego City lining up defensively, a two-person wall along the left post. This is up and high. Ariola bounces it back. A chance down the middle. It's going to go in. It's a goal. Jacob Leggett has put it away, and Fullerton College has taken the lead with less than a minute to go.
That is the sort. That is exactly what Fullerton College needed, Ryan. But now, here's the thing: we know that San Diego can turn and score on a dime. No, they don't have Exantis on the field. You have.
He actually just
okay.
He
checked in. So you put Exantis back on the field. 2 minutes or less, plus about 12 minutes of stoppage time at this point. It's a great exclamation point, but you have to hold the line.
So Fullerton College, we will see what they're able to do. That is officially going to go in with one assist as Martinez catches up to it.
What did I say?
Making everything a little bit more nervous, a little bit more jumpy, but Martinez catches up to it. So the corner kick is taken on that far side by David Suarez. It's bumped back by Andrew Ariola, and Ariola is the one who gives it over to Leggett at the top of the box, and all he does is just get contact on it and put it inside the left post. Fullerton College in the 89th minute ends up getting the goal to go up by 1. It's 1-0 Fullerton as they have taken the lead and taken the advantage.
And the supporter side of the Fullerton College homers are coming alive. The supporter section could not be more excited. And if you couldn't catch this on the broadcast, the tension in the stadium before that corner kick, I'd say palpable, Mark.
Yeah, I think everybody on the Fullerton bench took a sigh of relief, and especially because one OEC team is going to move on. It looks like now we may have two. And who'd they take out? 2 teams from the San Diego area.
So Fullerton College, as it stands right now, if the result stays the same, they will face Cuyamaca coming up either later this week or early next. It's Leggett who takes it to the line, and he's going to kick it away. Fullerton College bringing 5 back on the back line. It's Rodriguez, Ariola, Torres, in addition to Paul Mounter and Suarez. Fullerton with some pressure. They've got the ball down the middle. Here's a chance for the Hornets, and it gets taken away. After that, deflects off of it. Looked like Villafana for a second. Fullerton College, that's going to be a foul and an easy booking for the official. And it, I believe, is going to go against the back line for Fullerton. We'll see who that is in just a little bit. It's a 3-person attack right now as Exantis comes up to it. He's going to get it back. He's going to scoop to his right. He's looking for a teammate. He's got someone for a second. Kicked away by the back line of Fullerton once more, and Paul Mounter. Villafana, a change in cleats, a change in boots, and he's trying to get a little bit more for Fullerton. He keeps it inside the touchline. He's going to take a shot. Little looper that goes up and high. Doesn't miss by much. Substitutions in.
Exantis, you have to think of him as almost a twice as big threat on the field right now. He's back in playing, and as much as his team wanted to get even for how he was tackled earlier, you have to know he wants to get even that much more. So Fullerton really needs to be careful about guarding him.
And just to clarify what Ryan was talking about, if the Hornets win tonight, they will play then on Saturday, Ryan,
the
22nd at Cuyamaca. So that will be the next round of playoff games.
If Fullerton walks away with the win tonight, the only way, correct me if I'm wrong, Ryan, that they would host a game would be is if Pasadena beats Los Angeles City, who's playing right now, they go on to play Norco. They would have to beat Norco. Fullerton would have to beat Cuyamaca, and then we'd look at a Saturday game for Fullerton maybe hosting another game.
That's correct. As Villafana has it, he's going to take a shot. That's a looper. It's not going to make it to the goal frame. Does it? It just misses by maybe a foot. Missing the swipe there was Diego Garcia, and Fullerton almost buried their second of this match. Everyone over to my left, nervously up and down in their seats. Steven Martinez will let this go. It's going to go as a goal kick for Fullerton College. Martinez more than happy to let this ball roll and not take too little time getting up to this. Little gamesmanship, but also it's allowing for his team to keep clicking down the seconds. 1-0, Fullerton College with the lead. They've got the ball in the attacking third. A little drop down here, San Diego City desperately trying to get the tying marker. Ariola ranges back for it. He'll bump it away on the clearance. Now a chance for Exantis. He's going to turn. He's got a one-on-one against Jared Rodriguez. Calls for a foul, doesn't get one. Cortez bumps it off of a San Diego City player, and it will go right back to the Knights. Knights on the attack. Knights still with it. Dispossessed by Jacob Cortez. The wily sophomore is able to get his chances here as Villafana gets it right back for a second. Finally, keep away is going to go the way of the Knights. They stay with it just past Suarez. Suarez on the chase. He's going to range back and look for Kevin Castro. Castro, clearance for the Hornets for a second. Knights get it back. Looper, right-hand side, Kevin Nguyen. He's coming up to it on the goal line, and that one is cleared away by the Hornets back line again.
The energy of this entire stadium has changed, Ryan, with the marker that Fullerton College scored. This went from a apprehensious to, at that corner kick, a tense game, and now both benches are more alive than they've been all night long, and the Fullerton supporter section, at times, electric, I'm going to say. They are all in.
They will be all in and continue to do so. Fullerton College with the win as that finishes it off. Fullerton with a late winner. Jacob Leggett in the 89th minute, assisted by Andrew Ariola. And everyone embraces as Hal Sherbeck Field comes alive once more. It's 1-0 Fullerton with the winner. And Fullerton College is going to move on to Saturday as they will face Cuyamaca, the defending state champions, here in the 3C2A. Real quick, guys, I'll bring it back over to you. You look at this matchup. It didn't go the way that either team wanted. Neither team controlled the way that this pace went. But yet Fullerton College scrapes one out at the end.
They haven't. I mean, we've seen a couple kind of, let's say, unusual outcomes. If we're looking at some of the brackets today, Fullerton College is being another one of them. And let's see if, Lady Luck continues to look at them this coming Saturday against Cuyamaca.
Well, and I think the biggest thing comes down to is the best player for San Diego City gets hurt. And when he gets hurt, everything changes, and you don't get that attitude.
Yeah, and for San Diego City, again, Exantis is the one who ends up going down hurt, and unfortunately for San Diego City, you saw a different way of attack. They just weren't able to get into the rhythm that they wanted to when they had Exantis on the pitch. That's going to do it for us here tonight as Fullerton College gets a win at the very end. At the very last, it is Jacob Leggett who will lead the cheer for Fullerton College supporters and parents over to our left-hand side. We will continue to stay with you throughout the week as if Fullerton College again beats Cuyamaca and Pasadena beats Norco, and their matchup that is taking place at the same time today will have another home game. If we don't have that exact scenario, that's it for us here at Fullerton College and Hornet Radio, covering Fullerton College soccer throughout the year. We want to thank everyone who was on the broadcast today. Joseph Abdel for the halftime, Becky Nguyen behind the ones and twos. Also Caleb Ramos for joining us here at the half, and then also being our sideline reporter here tonight. For Joseph Pavlenko, Mark Pavlovich, I am Ryan Osborne, thanking you for joining us. 1-0 Fullerton College with the late winner thanks to Jacob Leggett's right foot. You have been watching Fullerton College Soccer on Hornet Radio.